in-depth conversation with you, Sheriff. I saw the numbers that were presented to me. Let's talk about the impact that COVID had on the numbers in the jail. If you're seeing that continuing, and what do you anticipate during the summer months?
Well, what we saw during COVID, and if you looked at the numbers, the numbers are significantly different from 2019, and then 2020 and 2021, there was a significant drop in numbers. That had a lot to do with the criminal justice system as a whole. We weren't quite sure at the time what we were dealing with early on with COVID. Many of the courts had shut down. Some of the courthouses were shut down altogether. And until we got a better understanding and a better handle on how to deal with that, it certainly affected the numbers of law enforcement officers out in the community making an arrest. And many times, instead of them arresting someone, them coming down to the Mahoning County Jail, booking those individuals, and then either being kept there or released, they would just get a summons from that officer before even entering the courthouse itself.
Well, I'm sure many people going through COVID never, excuse me, but I'm sure many people never thought that COVID would have an impact on the criminal justice system and the jail.
Yeah, it had everything. You know, we talked earlier about classification of inmates and where they would go, whether you're male or female, juvenile or light offender, serious offender. But during COVID, we had what we called a dirty pod. And we just called it a dirty pod because we didn't know if those new individuals that were coming into our jail had COVID or not. So they essentially went into a quarantined pod for X amount of days. And once they were fine physically, then we could distribute those individuals for wherever they needed to go based on their classification. But COVID certainly has had an impact. The future remains to be seen, but we also know that the cases are going down. Hopefully we're not going to have any additional flare-ups, and then you'll see those numbers start going back to normal again.
What are you thinking for the summer? Again, once the summer hits us in full force, numbers going up, inmate numbers and statistics will go up as well.
Yeah, my entire 30 years with the sheriff's office and in law enforcement, when the temperature goes up, crime goes up, and our facility tends to become more crowded during the warmer months. That is a fact.
I want to thank Mahoning County Sheriff Jerry Greene for taking the time to talk in depth with me. And tomorrow at 5, we're going to talk about the Sheriff's Department's role in the anti-violence initiatives right now. I'm WKBN Community Affairs Director Dee Crawford.